Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast for the opening day of the 2017-2018 season. Hooray! Football competitively is back, although it feels like we've covered a season's worth of football already in our pre-season coverage. So, this week we will of course be discussing the openers in the Premiership and Championship. We'll also be covering the week's main news stories, including the ABBA penalties used for the first time and Aberdeen's UEFA charges. I'll also spring a surprise quiz on my co-host this week at some point. And they are John Pension Pot Brown.
Hello.
Hello, John. And we also have the air hostess with the mostess, Andrew.
Oh, that's funny.
Hello, Andrew. He's got his wee headset on, sounding like an aeroplane announcer, hence the hostess with the mostess. And would you care to explain the John Pension Pot reference, John?
I got a job, would you believe?
He got a job. So the podcast is employing people.
Yes.
We're bringing happiness to those. So last time these two were on the podcast, we had a bit of a Falkirk lovin'. So hopefully not having so much of that this time. Okay, guys?
We'll try.
I'm watching. So, let's dive straight in with some news. I was going to cover at length the Apollon Limassol Aberdeen game, but it seems so far away, and the fact another Scottish team going out of Europe at that stage was so predictable, there's just not even any point. So, I think just in the last few days it's come out that UEFA have been charging both teams, but the charge brought against Aberdeen was not having stewards travelling with fans.
Oh, way.
Yes.
Really?
This is a UEFA regulation, apparently, that they have to... I can't even keep a serious face, like...
Is there not one in the crowd?
But like, are you like shipping a bunch of babies over to watch your football team? Like, you know, stewards to be with the away fans. What on earth is that about?
I've never heard of that in my life, honestly.
And crowd disturbances as well. But
that
it was
wasn't really their fault, though.
What?
That wasn't really Aberdeen's fault, though.
Why do you not think that?
Because what would you do if you're getting stuff chucked at you from left, right, and up?
Well, that's the thing. There was, flares going off in the stadium. The Limassol fans were aggressive to the same level of Turkish fans, I would say, who are, of course, notorious for their sort of ultras culture and kind of football violence, with team buses and things like literally set on
Probably
fire.
counts as good behaviour for them, to be fair.
Probably. So anything the Aberdeen fans probably did, I think, was in defence. I mean, Aberdeen fans are quite docile, to be honest, at the best of the time. I've never been at Pittodrie where I was, afraid of the ruckus atmosphere that they were trying to intimidate away fans with,
Or just the atmosphere in general.
Well, sadly, yes.
Well, he's used to sometimes fight with Rangers, I know that, but that was when Rangers were actually a good team.
I mean, that was a small section of the support, and of course the Aberdeen Rangers rivalry is it's probably the second biggest in Scottish football.
Not really. Hearts, Hibs.
It's up there with some of the biggest rivalries going.
But Aberdeen is a big rivalry.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, not fair. It's
a joke. I don't get it.
How do you have a steward travelling with away fans?
I just completely floored me. I don't know.
I mean, Andrew, as an air steward yourself with your lovely headset there, could you not?
It's essentially like hiring bouncers to walk with the fans, if you think about it.
Like tour guides. But you'd have to have one on every flight.
No, but
make a good coach trip show, though, wouldn't it?
I mean, if you take it's not just going to be one steward. How many Aberdeen fans went?
I want to say 3,000. I think that's about an overestimate.
What, Aberdeen fans in
Limassol?
So it was 1,000 plus.
450.
I think it was 1,500 or something like that.
Come on.
Well, think about that.
I don't know how many there were like.
Technically, if Aberdeen just wanted to stick with the rules, would one steward technically get them away with it?
I don't know, but
again, 4 stewards. If you take 4 stewards with you, what difference is that going to make? They would have still done exactly the same thing.
Are you telling me that like St Johnstone took stewards to Latvia, Lithuania?
Well, they only penalised them because there was no trouble.
Well, exactly.
St Johnstone aren't exactly rowdy, are they?
So where does that leave UEFA on the moral high ground? I mean, John, I know you're not a huge fan of them levying fines and.
I mean, that in particular is a bit of a joke. And the fines are quite paltry as well. I mean, like €4,000. That's hardly anything. Really.
I think haven't Celtic racked up like hundreds of thousands over the years?
Oh, easy. Plus stadium bans, plus whatever else. Nah, I don't get it. It's a symbolic gesture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think FIFA can really be bothered, like UEFA, I should say. can really be bothered chasing these things up.
Mm-hmm.
And so hot. I mean, £4,000 will be roughly what Greg Stewart's like a fortnight's salary. Maybe?
Quite possibly. But that's a lot to some of these clubs, and if a team like has a relatively untarnished record that way, it's not nice. But anyway, Limassol, after beating Aberdeen 2-0 away in Limassol, we'll now go on to face. John, you'll be able to tell me the pronunciation of the Dutch team, FC Midtjylland.
Midtjylland.
There you go, Midtjylland, who
Maybe.
I believe knocked out Man United in the years gone by in the competition.
They certainly played them in the Europa League.
I saw that stat. I think it was a groups.
It was the knockout stages.
Knockout stages.
32, last 32 maybe.
So a good team there that Aberdeen probably wouldn't have beaten.
No, I think he would have had a good chance.
Nah, I don't. I think we're stuck at a level now where we're not going to get beyond, that sort of third qualifying round. Or
You'll take a step back this season, I reckon. You won't do as well as you did last season.
Doesn't matter anymore. We'll get to the domestic action a bit later. In other news, the Hearts manager vacancy
This is a good one.
currently available, despite I think John Daly's kind of bullishness. We'll cover that a little bit later as well. Have you heard who's in the race for the job, guys? A few names.
That's my actual job.
There are a few John Browns in Scottish football. Pension pot. I don't know if the players are quite that old yet, John, but I think there are a lot of people applying for it though, and making it very public that they are applying for it.
It seems to be a very attractive position. Don't know why.
No. A few names in the hat. Is it Fabrizio Ravanelli? Is it Fabrizio's his first name?
Oh, that's a tough one. I know it's Ravanelli. Was it
Tell
international?
Yes. Tell us in the comments whether I'm right or wrong there. Paulo Sergio, popular Spaniard, managed them a few years ago. Not a great amount of success, as far as I can remember.
Paulo Sergio?
Yeah.
Was he another one that won the Scottish Cup
Did he?
with them? Yeah. No, they didn't beat Great though.
I feel that.
Was he not the 5-1 manager?
You'll tell me that in a moment, John.
I will tell you that in a moment.
And also, someone they've been keen on interviewing actually was Stephen McClaren, Andrew.
Well, they could play him like a puppet.
Well,
so that's why he would be attractive there, because I don't think he's got a backbone for a team. So whatever Levine tells him to do, he'll just stand there, get the paycheck, and go with it. He'll stand there with his umbrella. Let's get
that could be a valid point.
Back out.
Do you think he announced his intention with a Scottish accent?
Quite possibly. He's not had much success in the kind of last decade. Well,
was it not FC20?
He won the Dutch League.
Yeah, he won the Dutch League with FC20, but that's a mere blip, really.
I mean,
It was a downward spiral.
he struggled with a lot of championship teams. Also a manager of your beloved Newcastle briefly, was he?
It was. He effectively got us relegated.
I think anyone would have done that, in fairness.
The revolution didn't quite start.
Well, Big Sam Allardyce is still available, is he not?
No, he's done with. Well, I don't really think he's interested in managing anymore. Especially not Scottish football, because he steered Crystal Palace away and said, "I'm done."
It's a curious one from McClaren. I don't know why.
Well, I think
this would be appealing.
I don't think from the way I read the articles and things, I don't think he put his name into the hat. I believe
That was a kind of
Hearts or someone who are keen to interview him.
right.
I mean, he did well. I'll say with his stint with Derby, he did well at the start, and then I think he seems to lose the players at some point. Because at the start with Derby, they were cruising the league. I think it was the first time he was at Derby. They were cruising the league, and then they dropped off. The second time he went back to Derby, the exact same thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's able to keep players on his side, to be fair. Because Newcastle showed signs of doing well, but at the same time, I don't think that was to do with McClaren. I think it was just the players he had.
He probably did better than Alan Pardew.
Well, you say that, but Alan Pardew kept them up.
Did he?
Did he not put them into Europe as well?
He was the man. Paulo Sergio was the manager during the 5-1 victory.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
he's a hero.
I think he got a bit lucky with that team, though. So we'll wait and see. Lots of options there for Hearts in the pool. I know you were insisting that you thought Tommy Wright was going to get the... and there was a rumour that Peter Houston of Falkirk was
That's
in
a
the
joke.
hat.
They can take him if they want.
Again, we'll come to that a little bit later as well. So we will eagerly await and see lots of interesting names in the hats. Do you think that they'll actually be able to get that team to maybe where they're supposed to this season with the transfer window effectively ended? Do you think that team's strong enough to challenge for second or third?
I mean, they're going to have to be really, really quick in getting their manager in. So there is at least a kind of week off a transfer window for them. If not, they're going to be really struggling. Because it's a team of Cathro signings, or Levine signings, wherever you want to kind of draw your line. But
again,
Kyle Lafferty is probably the best there, because I think he'll just be able to score them goals. I'm not going to say he's going to be flashy or anything, but he'll get them goals.
I think he's yet to prove himself in the goal scoring department.
I think at Hearts, for that kind of level, he should be fine. I think Christoph Berra was okay, a reasonable signing.
Very popular with the fans.
I don't know what you would kind of do. This all kind of hinges on Jimmy Walker.
Yeah, who still isn't playing in the team, and which brings me nicely on to my next news story. That Rangers obviously sold Martin Waghorn, so welcome Jimmy Walker through the door.
Exactly, yeah.
So the rumoured price was nuts that you were telling us there, John.
Yeah, I mean, I was hearing on Twitter, so don't quote me, but it was roughly £1 million.
For a player that's out of shape and overweight.
Absolute deal of the century.
Is he overweight?
Is he overweight? Look at him.
I don't know.
Can he move? No.
Pigeon chest.
Is he fit? No. Can he score penalties? Yes.
His goal scoring record has not been great at Rangers.
No, but look at how many. He's probably scored as much penalties as he has goals. But he's not. I think he's dire.
I thought he was a reasonable player at Scottish Championship level, and then he kind of moved into the Scottish Premiership and looked terrible. He couldn't hack it.
I don't think he even looked that much of a standout at Scottish Championship level. I think he's one player that, well, some fans are sad to leave, but I think Rangers are just so loyal to their team. But they acknowledge that he wasn't a great footballer. So if they did have that £1 million, is it Jamie Walker coming in?
Oh, it has to be. It has to be. Well, then again, you're kind of relying on Morelos to get you your goals as a striker.
Why?
He came on as a sub against Motherwell, which we might kind of come on to.
Oh yeah, we will.
He looked quite sharp actually.
Did he?
For the 5, he looked okay. He's the kind of guy like sort of hang off the last man.
Yeah. And
try and break forward, which I quite like. So we'll see how he gets on.
I've yet to be convinced. He had a very bad pre-season. I was just kind of glancing at the Motherwell.
Shocking against Progress, but
I mean, no one was good against Progress.
No, there was no standout.
Absolutely not. Also, interestingly, this week, a mix-up by the announcer at the Paisley 2020 Run 1 Arena led to fans having difficulty claiming their bets. So the St Mirren Falkirk game, the first scorer was announced to be Miles Hippolyte, when in fact it was a certain Nathan Austin. So pretty much every outlet picked up the goal scorer as Miles Hippolyte.
Yeah, pretty much. When
in actuality it was Nathan Austin. So we've been questioning in the past as to where these stats come from for possession and stuff like that. Shows these guys aren't trying that hard. They're just listening for the announcer for the goal scorer.
It seemed to have been that. I mean, it was blatantly obvious it was Nathan Austin. He ran away, there was no one near him in about a 10-yard radius celebrating. It was evident that he had scored the goal.
Is there any similarities between these two players, Andrew, that you might get them mixed up or mistaken?
I mean, they're Falkirk's only two black players.
There you go.
So
I think they look similar from afar, to be honest.
Nah.
Same haircut.
Not really.
Their demeanour's different, but then I guess you would only really recognise that if you were a Falkirk fan.
Well, if you think about it in more of a positional sense, though, where was Hippolyte played? Left mid.
Yep.
Was he not right behind Rory Loy when he put the ball in? So
I mean, you're not going to make the mistake of Adam Muirhead and Rory Loy, for example.
No, one's a big beardy man, one's a not.
One's good at football.
So yeah, bad mistake, but it did lead to some fun at the bookies.
I mean, double payouts there.
Yeah, well, people got the money for Hippolyte to be first scorer, and then people were claiming for
Austin.
The only way they'd get the Austin back is if they provided video proof.
Which you could easily do.
Yeah,
thanks to Falkirk TV on YouTube.
But then they might claim the ball wasn't over the line. But it was evidently.
We'll come back to it. Look close to me. Another news this week, of course, we kind of have to touch on it, is Neymar signing for Paris Saint-Germain for £200 million.
World's gone mad.
Well, interestingly enough, today we were watching one of these Premier League reviews from some years ago, and the entire spending of the Premier League in the January transfer window was... was it under 100?
It was under 100 million.
It was under 100 million.
I think this was...
So in one player, PSG outspent the entire Premier League in one transfer window. Twice.
Yep.
Over, which is nuts. But I was obviously up on the website today to sort of treat myself to the wee PSG kit for my birthday. With Le Mans on the back, not even Neymar. And it's out of stock until September. September!
Bonkers.
Absolute mad. Nike clearly didn't expect this to happen because there's no kits.
Didn't they get the memo?
Floating about, and you've got to pre-order your Neymar kit if you want it. So I think this is a healthy amount of the 200 million recouped straight from the off.
Must be.
But again, with the wages, and then how much did they pay his dad?
Pay his dad?
Yeah, he gets a share of every.
He's effectively his
agent. Okay.
So basically, he what's it? I read something. I think it's like 1/6 of the transfer or something. Ridiculous! It's like the Pogba like
after negotiating
the
nothing.
Agent fees is a bit ridiculous.
I hate agents. See, if I were to ever run a football team, I'd say to the guys like, look, I will give you a good contract offer, but no agents to like skim off the top of this. And I don't know what the case in Scottish football is if these guys can even.
I mean, Sibs must have just emailed Luton asking for a trial. Then.
Well, apparently Sibs has got the same agent as Will Vaulks.
Oh
well.
But which is kind of surprising as to why Will Vaulks got such a move.
Well, Will Vaulks did have a trial with Blackburn.
He did.
That never went well.
Thank goodness. Who wants to play with Charlie Mulgrew? I say it every week. Week in, week out.
Well, Anthony Stokes didn't.
No. Back at Hibs, that's another news story as well.
Did Effie Ambrose turn up to Hibs?
Yeah, he came back.
Did he?
Yeah, he was playing. Playing at the weekend. I think he got booked. Something along those lines. So no, all very exciting. I think that rounds us off for the news. So let's dive straight in with our Premier League chat. So first game of the weekend. Celtic beat Hearts 4-1. I thought Hearts kind of held out quite admirably for the first kind of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you think, the defence are okay, and then 1 went in, 2 went in, 3 went in, 4 went in. So kind of crumbled a bit there. But there's not much good to say about Hearts in that match, I don't think.
Not particularly. I only seen the first half, and they weren't in it at all.
No.
Celtic passed through them very casually, got the goal, and it could have been any score at that stage. You know,
they missed a lot of chances.
Celtic didn't look sharp.
No.
I think they're kind of European hangover creeping in. You're kind of lacking 1 or 2 players here and there. So that's a factor to sort of put into the result, but still 4-1. Like, come on.
Oh, aye. I think they should have put a lot more chances away early on. Griffiths in particular, he didn't finish off any of the maybe complicated chances he had. It was just the kind of tapping he got. But it was good to see kind of Callum McGregor rewarded because he was playing well with a goal. So I think this maybe could be a breakout season for him. I know he played kind of on and off last season, but
I mean, I wasn't too convinced with him last season. I think there was still something kind of lacking in his game. But to be fair to the guy, he gets you goals.
He does. Quite an exciting attacking midfielder. And what is a competitive midfield to get your place?
Very.
In the starting 11. So he'll be getting on a bit now. You know, he can't really be considered as a youngster anymore.
Is he still not like 20?
Be 21, 22, I think.
Well, you know that you're not really a youngster anymore at that point, are you?
Well,
people have played hundreds.
Still got potential though.
Still got potential, but you need to be making your move. I think at that.
I think if he's going to cement his sort of place in the Celtic squad for the coming seasons, this is a big season.
Absolutely. So no, we'll wait and see. But in terms of Hearts, no Walker in the squad again, and I think if they're going to finish in the top 6, they would have made a much more of an impact that game than they did. That looked a very kind of minnow performance. And obviously a war of words after the game. Did you see this?
Gloriously.
Oh, I must admit, I always see Brendan Rodgers in press conferences and stuff, very calm, very collected. He calms you down, like directs you away from the issue. His voice was wavering a little bit.
He's been riled. I think somebody's rattled his cage in the last couple of days.
Very surprised. What did you make of John Daly's comments?
Even better.
Well, I mean, the feud, obviously, we should explain, started with Brendan Rodgers' criticism of the signings made during Cathro's time, saying that the signings weren't really what Cathro maybe wanted. Yeah,
they didn't fit Cathro's system or Rodgers' perceived system that Cathro uses.
Yes.
I think is the kind of fundamental thing.
Yes.
Rodgers made an observation as to what he sees Hearts should be, I think.
So do you think that Cathro was getting the players in that he wanted?
No.
I don't know. I don't know who's really in control. I don't know if this is kind of Levine twisting his arm. There's a lot of kind of positivity surrounding Austin McPhee.
Was Austin McPhee the scout?
he was an assistant coach, but I don't know if he was a scout previous. But even then, like,
I think he was responsible for kind of some of the things. He seems like a dodgy character right from the off. We know too much about him already.
he looks a bit of a snake.
He does.
He
sounds like a snake. Austin McPhee's like, someone you'd get in
like
Sons of Anarchy or something like that.
Beard and long hair. He's like,
aye.
Nah, something no right there.
But it's such a strange setup. And you see week in, week out, Levine sitting next to Anne Budge, they're both smiling, hee-hawing and laughing. Like,
they're having an affair.
Well, it's really... I was reminded of, that Lord of the Rings, that king that has that like snake of a guy who's always like in his ear giving him advice.
Yeah.
And he just slowly like crumbles away, losing his strength. Levine just seems to be a massive self-preservationist.
Oh, aye, he's played it well the last couple of years. I think one or two people are now beginning to question it, who have a bit more authority in the media, and that could spell the end.
I think this whole setup has to go.
It has. It's very strange in the Scottish context, but it's because it's so unique as well. Because no one will dare try it. It doesn't fit the culture of British football, even.
No, I mean, I don't know any club that operates in this sort of style. Yes, you have your directors of footballs and things who are maybe more responsible.
But even if you look down in England, there's very little examples.
I mean, the way they would do it down there is someone who would maybe be responsible for the recruitment on like a more long-term basis. So they would maybe be looking more at the youth development side of things. The manager obviously gives someone a list, i.e. the chairman, of who they want, and there was all those rumours about Levine picking the team.
Yeah.
Those rumours don't come from nowhere. And I think it was different because Cathro was quite a young manager in his first kind of managerial position, maybe needed some advice, but he's a big boy.
If you're going to follow Brendan Rodgers' logic here that the players have been brought in weren't Cathro's, you can almost just say Cathro is there to sort of take the players he's been given and put them in a system.
Yeah.
And he has absolutely no say whatsoever as to who he wants to actually play his own system. And that's a really difficult position for Cathro to be in because ultimately he's not his own man.
Yeah.
He's a puppet for 3 or 4 different factors in there. He's got the squad to contend with, he's got the media to contend with, and Budge will be breathing down his neck, and then you've got Craig Levine, the big elephant in the room.
Well, like they're saying that Craig Levine is enjoying his time in a kind of non media face. He's not. He's
a shadow.
Completely. And he's the person that should be answering the questions. But, what was John Daly's agenda? Coming out and absolutely blasting Brendan Rodgers for his comments.
Well, he
had to do it, yeah.
He is trying to get his foot in the door. Like, I think is it a publicity stunt? Is it not? I think it might have been a little bit to get the fans behind him and then for them to put pressure on the board because they might trust in John Daly. But, I mean, the names that have been thrown out, I think he's going to understand that his time's...
John Daly's not getting the job.
No, I'm curious to know if John Daly was kind of part of that system that Cathro had, if you're going to look at it from a Hearts perspective. So why would you want him hanging around? In fact, if anything, you would want to clear the whole bloody lot out and start afresh.
Yeah, but they won't think like that because it's their system.
Well, no, I mean, it was getting worse because the individual that they're going to bring in as head coach has to have Austin McPhee as an assistant manager.
I did hear that.
They have to have the goalkeeping coach. They have to have the fitness coach. I don't know how I feel about that personally, and I don't think the people that are applying for this really understand. I mean, I can't imagine Paulo Sergio coming in and going, fair enough, I'll work with all these guys.
You can imagine someone of the stature of Ravanelli coming in and saying, yeah, I'll be bossed about by this codger who had one good spell in management for Dundee United and never did anything since.
I mean, are you going to imagine Steve McClaren coming in there and dealing with that?
Yes.
Really?
I honestly think...
Think about what he must have had to contend with at Newcastle, which was...
Oh, it's a basket case.
But it was a similar amount of control that was exercised by the board, the signings people, stuff like that, which is a lot of managers complained about it in the past. So maybe he thinks he can come in and overhaul that system. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Well, I think someone of Ravanelli might be able to get away with it, but I don't think...
It would take a strong character.
Yeah.
And it needs to be someone who can get round Levine and Budge. And I mean both mentally and physically. I think in some cases. I think he'll be outside her door making sure, you're no talking to her. But I know he's a snaky goat, Craig Levine, that's what he is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but Tough.
I know. We shall say no more. But in terms of Celtic, do you think if they make the Champions League, they'll make a few more signings before the end of the window?
Maybe.
Maybe one or two, but I'd say maybe a winger. Because I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of Forest.
In terms of wingers.
I'm not a fan of Forest. Because they've still got. I think they're still trying to chase Paddy Roberts if no one's going to take him.
I don't know. There'll be a lot of money required.
It's the talk.
It'd be money they would have if they got
it's
Champions
8 million
League.
the talk is, but Celtic are only willing to pay 6.
They need to get a deal. At the end of the day, I think centre back is an area they could be quite short of. They were playing.
I mean, they're now starting to play Beaton there, which is an issue.
Beaton played. I think Sviatchenko is looking to go out on loan. Besiktas were kind of involved with that, which it would be a bad time to lose Sviatchenko, but at the same time they've not given him the game time, so he wants to move.
They're injured as well.
Well, yeah, I know. So there's all these problems, and they need another striker.
I think so, and I'm not convinced that Dembele's going to be there much longer anyway.
I don't think Dembele's even up to the task, to be honest. I'm still not enamoured by Dembele.
He's got a lot of potential, which people are still focusing on that aspect.
Potential.
Potemkin.
I'm trying to mix two words, and you understand why in a second. Potential seldom materialises these days, though. You know, all these guys coming through with huge potential, you don't really see them on the top stage.
Not really. Well,
who's really come through in the last?
What, with real potential?
I'd say, like, in terms of like wonder kids that they pointed out and said this kid's going to be the best in the world.
Rashford.
Gareth Bale.
But Gareth Bale took his time.
I don't know.
But again, he did. He had a really bad season with Spurs, and then he came out. Like, I think the bad season spurred him on to be the player he is.
That's Spurs. I like your tactical reference there. But more times there's flops than not. And yes, he played well for the start of last season, had some good Champions League performances. Beyond that, after he got injured, it's pretty blah.
He was kind of in the team because of injuries. It kind of ruins his kind of tempo as well, which you may not see the best of him. Mm-hmm. I think he's got bags of potential, and he could move. He can make a big move and make it stick.
Not while he's injured.
But.
So we'll wait and see. Moving on, Hibernian came from behind to beat Partick Thistle 3-1. Interestingly, no Blair Spittle in the Partick Thistle squad after playing quite well in pre-season.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. Maybe he's injured.
Maybe he's injured, I've not heard. But it was actually quite a good finish from Ryan Erskine to kind of put a wee sucker punch into Hibs very early on. Beat some of the defenders, then slotted past Marciano, who I think the Hibs fans are really excited about. Seems to be quite a good keeper.
He's an Israeli international.
I don't know how how do you find, like...
I don't know.
Very, very bizarre. And then is it Martin Boyle or Marvin Boyle? Martin Boyle equalised. Everyone was saying, oh my goodness, how amazing Martin Boyle was. To me, in that watching the highlights, and this is not a full 90, Danny Swanson was much more involved than I have seen of him in pre-season.
Was he? Well, that was quite surprising.
Well,
I haven't seen anything. I've been too busy doing a dissertation. But
moan. But did you see the highlights, Andrew?
I've seen the goals.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
not an in-depth man like myself.
Yes, but the majority of the goals all involve Boyle.
I would say majority of the goals all involve Swanson, actually.
I was more paying
Are we getting
to
them
Boyle.
mixed up? Swanson's a bald man, right?
This was Boyle, though.
I'm kidding. Swanson's not a bald man. Is he a bald? No, he's not a bald man. He's got hair.
You're getting me confused now as well.
Yeah. No, I was a lot of creativity in the kind of Hibs going forward. Simon Murray getting his goal as well from the penalty.
I mean, the goal that he set up by accident, like he hit it off the defender. No, that never went in, did it?
No, I don't think.
Basically, they played the ball into Murray, but then he did I think he was trying to get into stride. He couldn't get in. They basically knocked off the defender, knocked off him.
I think the first Boyle goal was quite lucky. The Whittaker goal was actually quite good.
It was really slow.
That's Scottish football, Andrew.
I know, but it's just watching it going in is painful. Even they put it in slow mo in the replay as well, which really doesn't help. The goal was slow enough.
Yeah, but do you think Simon Murray's got a potential of being one of the top scorers this season?
No. But I think he's going to set up.
Could be.
No. I think he's going to put enough pressure on the defenders that is going to open up chances for everyone else. He's not like when he was at Dundee United. What was it? 50 appearances and 17 goals.
Yeah.
So most of Dundee United's goals came from him causing mistakes of defenders or midfielders because he's just nippy.
But that's where goals come from in Scotland. It's not good play; it's mistakes.
He's not going to be as good as Jason. He's not going to be as good with shooting as Jason Cummins was.
I think Murray's got like that trick in his bag of that shot from just outside of the box that he almost scored like 100% of the time with Dundee United last season.
I mean, St Mirren's a really curious character. Yes, he will score those kind of goals, but it's almost on instinct. Mm-hmm. If you see him run one-on-one goals, chances are he's going to miss. He needs a 6 or 7 glorious opportunities before he'll actually find the net.
So does everyone else in Scotland.
But that's what's going to hold him back. He's not clinical enough.
Well, we'll wait and see. Some good points there. 17,000 in attendance.
Terrific crowd.
Unbelievable. I think it would have been the second best crowd of the weekend.
Behind Celtics.
In the Scottish League. So, unbelievable. I guess it's good to have them back in the league from that standpoint. Excellent manager. Neil Lennon, I expect them to finish above Rangers, according to my preview show.
Well.
Although, after their performance against Motherwell, which I guess we'll talk about next, big stat there was only 3 players from Rangers' starting 11 of last season carried over to this team, which would have been, I think, Foderingham, Miller,
Lee Wallace.
And Lee Wallace, probably. So, a radically new team. Do you think it's an improvement on what they had towards the end of last season, John?
It looked not bad, but the defence was still shaky. The amount of chances Motherwell had.
Yeah, and this is something I pointed out on the Sofamanager Instagram earlier today, but they pointed out to me that, Rangers equally had as many chances.
Oh, aye, but I mean, it was just all out attack.
Oh,
really.
I think an offensively kind of dominating display from Rangers, who looked really good going forward. A strong away support, I think, really spurred them on as well. A lot of atmosphere. Although I hate the chant, like Graham Dorrans is one of our own, because I was like, yes, he's a fan, but you like a one of your own chant. I feels like for a player that
you brought through your own academy.
Yeah, although Aberdeen chanted for Graham Shinnie, so I play fast and loose with my rules. So no, I was actually really impressed with Josh Windass. I think for the first time in my life,
he looked sharp for the first time I've ever seen him. Like I don't know what's happened, but I think last season every time he came on, he just never really put together the passes or the dribbling. But when he came on there, he was looking like a new player.
There was a time I remember teaching at another school with a big teacher who was a Rangers fan who used to get hospitality seats and stuff, and Josh Windass was floating about there one day. He was like, "Oh, you know what injury you got?" And he wasn't injured. He just wasn't in the squad. So that just shows you the sort of out of favour he was last season, and he was one of the ones talked about to be leaving, but seems to be kind of firmly in the squad after some excellent shooting. Sadly, no goal. He hit the post in the bar.
Yeah.
So good to see. I think Pedro moved him to another side. Things didn't quite work out as well.
No, but his kind of sort of link-up play between him and Dorrans was really excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's maybe where his kind of confidence is coming from now.
Mm-hmm.
That he knows there's someone that can feed him going forward. Like Dorrans knows how to pick a pass. Anyway, like he was a maestro in that game fundamentally.
Dorrans?
Yeah,
100%. Yeah,
unbelievable. He's a different class. It was brilliant.
If you compared him to what Rangers had last season, Andy Halliday,
head and shoulders.
Like, I mean, Joey Barton was there, but he never. Again, he just floated away with controversy.
Are you going into Portuguese? Is Pedro having an influence on you? I think that central midfield is actually, and I still don't rate Ryan Jack, but they work really well together. Him and Dorrans.
They do the dirty work, yep.
If one's going forward, the other one kind of knows, what the deal is there. I thought the first goal was actually really well worked. See Bruno Alves to pick out Kenny Miller at the back post. Mm-hmm. That was an excellent ball.
Oh, yeah.
So Alves knows what he's doing. The Motherwell defence was a bit of a calamity there. But
well, yeah, but if you say him before you expect Bruno Alves to know what he's doing, of course he does. Look at the teams he's played for, like...
Cagliari?
Right, you're saying that as the previous.
The most recent. He's had a lot of experience at the top level. Didn't take too long for Motherwell to get back in the game, though. I don't think 10-15 minutes. Good header from a free kick. It was a pretty simple goal to concede, actually. And then Rangers got a bit of luck. Was it luck? Right, okay.
I don't know about the penalty.
Yeah, see, this is what I was thinking as well. Moult essentially... apparently elbows the guy in the head. When I say elbows the guy, he's trying to get leverage.
He's leaning forward and he's sort of forearm goes into kind of the neck off. I forget who the Rangers
Candeas, I think it was. Who also I thought had quite a good game.
He went over. It's easy to say he went over easy, but a little bit of force and he's felt it and he's went down.
Mm-hmm.
Soft,
I would say.
technically correct, which is a little bit frustrating because I can guarantee you can watch a game next week, same thing will happen, and there'll be no penalty given.
Well, it was amazing that it was picked up.
Yeah, it's like if you watch a game next week and that happens, guaranteed they won't give a penalty.
Yeah.
Unless it's John Bean.
You see the incident at all, Andrew?
Yeah, I was working.
Apparently I watched all the highlights.
I watched most of them.
Apart from the Rangers one. So yeah, but Moole had a shocker. Aside from that, he did not play well in that game.
Nah, head's elsewhere.
I think his head is elsewhere. But no, there was a few chances he had. Just Motherwell were actually very, very frustrating to watch because they were creating, but then like the end ball, like the cross would be rubbish or the shot would just be spiralling off, and they could have won that game 3-2 in the last 10 minutes or so as Rangers went like 6 at the back.
A lot more composure at the end would have been helpful. Like I said, I think Milk's not long for the Motherwell world.
No.
I don't know about Cadden either. There's rumours about him leaving.
I think they're just too strong for that team. And I think some of the new signings, I think that Bowman is an alright striker for them. Yeah, I didn't see much of Biggery Hara. Sugar Mama, what was his?
Did he play?
I can't remember.
That tells you everything you need to know if he was or not.
Yeah, so he's not memorable to us, but after that performance, would you revise your Rangers prediction at all for where they'll finish this season?
Nah, not particularly, because I had Motherwell to finish 11th. So
I still think Motherwell finish low, Rangers will finish kind of mid-top 6 sort of level. So no, very interesting game to watch nonetheless. But no, totally agree with you as far as the penalty is concerned. Sunday as well, Aberdeen beat Hamilton 2-0.
Didn't see any of that. I forgot it was on.
Well, it kicked off at 3 p.m, no TV coverage because it overlapped with the Rangers game. Was only on Sunday because of the Europa League fixture. 2 goals from Aberdeen, not really much to say. I think Aberdeen squandered quite a lot of chances again. Biggest thing, Scott Wright got his kind of first start of the season. Young Scott Wright, 19 years old, got the hat-trick against Partick Thistle. Yeah. Tail end of last season and looked excellent. He was very much arguably man of the match. That was the biggest thing. Hamilton player, was it Xavier Thomas? Something along those lines, got sent off, and kind of rightfully so. Hamilton looked a bit lacklustre.
They looked a wee bit brutal. I have seen snippets, like some of the challenges.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're just like hammer throwers.
That's the game they play though. And the thing is, I think they should be happy that they actually contained Aberdeen to 2. Miles Storey, after just chances missed left, right and centre by Nicky Maynard in particular. Miles Storey comes on, who struggled to get in the team last season. Boom, first shot shows them how it's done.
Yeah, oh well.
So really pleased to see that from him. Yeah, not much that could be said for Hamilton really. I think they'll continue to struggle, so we'll wait and see. Another interesting game at the weekend. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 2.
What goal?
From Chris Boyd.
No, Michael O'Hara.
Oh, really? I would have said the Chris Boyd goal was better.
Well,
what?
Come on.
You've seen the O'Hara goal?
Have you seen the O'Hara goal? No, I've seen the O'Halloran goal. But no, that Boyd goal was better than O'Halloran. O'Halloran was impressive because he ran past, but that was a thunderbolt strike from Chris Boyd. I mean, he's got shot power of like 99 FIFA stats. And a few other shots that were unlucky not to score with. So I think that's the moral of the story for Kilmarnock. A bit unlucky not to take the 3 points from that game, but no, excellent finishes and individual goals from both Wotherspoon and O'Halloran. Just dribbling past the Kilmarnock defence of newly signed Gordon Greer and Kirk Broadfoot. So work to do for them in the box, just stop the guys running through so easily. But I was impressed by Greer. I thought he fired the ball up the pitch quite well for them, some good balls into the attackers. So definitely something to build on for Kilmarnock there. Look like 2 teams that will be contesting for that sort of mid-range in the league. Finally, we had Dundee losing 2-1 at home to Ross County. They were 2-0 down for much of the match, and it was a little bit too little too late for them, with I think Henry getting the goal late on. But no, Ross County looked quite good this game. They really took their chances at key moments in the tie. I thought Dundee kind of squandered a lot of chances. Could have done a bit better with that. So yeah, not really many surprises, truth be told, in the Premiership, I don't think. So anyway, I think that rounds off our Premiership chat. No real surprises there. for the first week. Celtic top the league, as was predicted.
And let it carry on.
And let it carry on. Well, we hope not. So wait and see how that progresses next week, of course. But to the most interesting league in Scottish football, of course, for us. And the mighty Falkirk Bairns, our local team. It's the Scottish Championship. It's opening weekend as well. So, John, you were actually at the game that we've already kind of discussed at the Paisley 2021 Arena.
Yep.
So I think we'll break it up into chunks. The game was a 3-1 victory for St Mirren in the end.
Don't remind me.
Yes, sadly over, 1,200 Falkirk fans travelling to the game?
Oh, easy, yep.
So a lot of disappointed faces. Let's say, how were the first 20 minutes, John?
Well, the first 20 minutes looked quite good for Falkirk anyway. Absolutely bossed it going forward. Some really excellent chances. Austin grabbed his goal. I thought Rory Loy looked excellent. His link-up play was just amazing, like a different class.
Mm-hmm.
After 20 minutes, St Mirren kind of sussed us out. They were like weakest piss in midfield. Sorry for my language, but it really is.
Beep.
And the fullbacks, oh my god, our fullbacks are dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tony Gallagher had sort of, for a 17-year-old, you can maybe cut him some slack, but put the fit in, man. At least notify the winger that you are actually alive.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, St Mirren strolled it.
This is something we discussed kind of last week, was that we were a bit concerned that the defence hadn't really been tried or tested.
Well, they were tried and tested this week.
Yeah, and they've been very much found wanting, essentially. So it's a bit of a concern, but Austin's goal in the first instance was quite a messy goal line scramble for him.
Ultimately, aye. But the sort of the worked opportunity to get the ball there was really quite good, really quite sharp. But you could see it all kind of crumble after the first 20 minutes. We had other chances that hadn't been taken. We began to kind of retreat further and further back. Harris went missing, as I've been sort of told by Hibs fans that he does this quite often during the league.
Returning to that form we've seen him yesteryear.
He just disappears, cares, past it, whatever level he plays it, unfortunately.
Played the full 90, did he?
Played the full 90, God knows how. Honestly.
This has been, 3-4 years now he's been playing full 90 minutes to the stark amazement.
4,500 people in that stadium, and only Houston could see that he wasn't up to the task. I even care, I'm sure, would admit that he had a poor game. Mm-hmm. And it's sad on the guy, it really is. Yeah, he's a Falkirk legend, really. And he's getting to that stage now where he's begun to kind of...
He started his career at Falkirk. He came through with the likes of Lee Miller. So basically, he started off in the Brotherhood days. He's won the title with Falkirk twice.
I think he's like the only title winner in the squad.
Lee won as well.
Well, they're not even... That's so long ago that...
Counts. It's on Wikipedia, it's true.
Yeah, no, it's very much been found wanting. In terms of St Mirren, that first goal from Dimitru?
I don't know.
He's fast.
He loves to be at St Mirren. I think he signed. Was really happy to get his extension. Mm-hmm. And a really clean finish, low, just to the side of the keeper.
Aye, Thompson was beat twice at his far post on sort of low ground shots, which was a wee bit embarrassing for him.
The second goal in particular, he kind of flapped at.
Aye, he didn't look confident, but then again, you look who's playing in front of him.
Well, that's the thing, but I know in years gone by, Rodgers was a bit of a hero at times, pulling off some quite spectacular saves.
But there were still issues with him, though, that he was an acrobatic keeper, so he'd make the spectacular saves, but there's some that really simple saves that he wouldn't make, and that would put us in problems.
But I don't think Thompson's had the opportunity to show us that he has. Because Falkirk keepers in the past have been...
I think Thompson's going to be fine. He's solid enough. Nothing really.
He's reliable. That's what I like about him. I wouldn't.
Had a bad game.
He never
on the weekend,
necessarily made a huge mistake in the game, because the goals, maybe he could have got more of a hand to one or not. But
ultimately, the shot should never have came in the first place. The defence was wide open.
So
he was left exposed. You can't pin the blame on the keeper, for God's sake. Look how bad that outfield team was.
So what went wrong from playing Brecon the week before to playing St Mirren? Well, yes, who Queen of the South conveniently beat 4-1. Also, I don't know if we can take that much from that game. Queen of the South now top the league. After the first week, not much you can take from it. But Queen of the South always actually really good starters. Falkirk, on the other hand, not.
No,
we're used to the bad start, unfortunately.
So in terms of, we're looking at the podcast we had before, was at the end of the Falkirk season that I said, right, what do we need to change? Unanimously, nothing is what came back. So do you think now that some changes are needed? There are a little bit left in the transfer window. Cash is short at the club, but...
I'd say we release Aaron Muirhead for the poor display of representing the club.
Well, Aaron Muirhead, we should say, elbowed someone
and
midway
the
through the second half.
Was it? I think it might be in the Sun or something, but the roundup was flying elbow, and they put it in inverted commas.
Yeah, I think he's shown that fire in the past in kind of spells.
Yeah,
it spills over.
If someone ever, there was one specific game last season where someone nipped his heels, he turned around and gave him a shady. Next time the boy tried to run past him, it was so blatantly obvious, he just swiped both the back of his legs and he got sent off, and then he never shook his head, he just walked.
Well, okay, another poor game from him too.
It was a poor game in general. Kind of he's gone for him.
Do you think they're maybe missing, especially from the defence, that kind of level, experienced head to kind of help them out, help settle the guys a bit?
The one delight, Will Vaulks is one player we do miss, but not for the fact how good he was, it was how versatile he was. He could play right back, centre back, holding mid. He was just...
But what about David McCracken, for example? Do they not now desperately miss him?
Well, you're having a laugh.
I'm gonna disagree with that, because there was times where he was a liability at times, but there was at times like this he would bring Falkirk, it would bring experience, and he actually brought a bit of what's the word? Structure.
Composure.
Yeah, composure, and he's just, I don't know. I didn't mind him at times, and he wasn't.
He wasn't team of the week a number of times, John.
No way.
And he was named as player in the team of the week.
But how many times did he get in team of the week last year?
Oh, I don't know. He only played a handful of games.
Every time he played, I think he was
every
in team
time
of the
he played,
week.
he got in the team of the week.
I think for me,
it was a name that the pundits knew and put in. That's what happened there.
So let's look at and let's review the recruitment that Falkirk had over the summer. They brought in Alex Harris. They brought in Rory Loy. Who else did they bring in?
That was a bit.
Okay, so they brought in Alex Harris and Rory Loy. I mean, my biggest problem with that recruitment is they're not Premiership players. Well,
Rory Loy, I'd say that was a good signing, because he's shown he's not going to get us that many goals, but he's going to create so much.
Oh yeah,
he's shown that.
I do question his goal scoring ability right now, because he's not shown that for us. Has he scored yet in a Falkirk shirt?
No,
don't think he has.
He's assisted at least 50% of the goals he scored during the...
I think that's what Houston's wanting him to do, though. Because he's very rarely in the box. It seems to be Joe McKee that seems to be bombing forward.
But then, the big elephant in the room is if he's supposed to be... Sorry. If he's supposed to be assisting a lot, he's going to have to be assisting Nathan Austin.
Which is an issue, because he cannot finish his own dinner.
Well...
At times.
Austin's got a lot of issues to sort out in terms of... He's looking for the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
You watch him when he gets into the box, he's looking for the defender to foul him so he can fall over. And then it's almost like a much better chance of scoring for the spot than you do one-on-one, probability speaking. But he has that kind of natural instinct to finish. I don't know why he doesn't sort of just lead with it.
Do it.
It's an unfortunate trait that he's developed at whatever stage in his career.
I think he often takes the easy way out, and just his demeanour on the field looks kind of sheepish. He gets bullied by defences very easily.
If he loses his first 3 or 4 challenges, he'll give up. He'll no challenge for it anymore. He'll look to try and run in the channel, get behind the defender, but he'll no go one-on-one with the centre back for fear of whatever.
The thing is, last year as well, when he did get his good spell of goals, when did that come?
Well, when he had Miller playing beside him.
But he always came on for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's where he had his golden success. And because of he's very good physically, he's very fast. That teams can't handle in 80 minutes through a football game.
No.
So that's why he got so much success last year, and it's converting that into now being a starter, playing against guys that are just as fresh as you are.
Oh,
and he's not coping with it. He's for lack of a better term, he's not developing at all.
Well, to be fair, I think we've got a very similar player in that, which was Scott Shepherd. Because remember, was it 3 seasons ago? No, honestly, 3 seasons ago. Think about it. We brought him on for the last 10, and he did look really well, because he was really fast and he was causing problems, because it was very simple with it. He went up the wing and just crossed it in low. Mm-hmm. That's all he did, and we usually got a goal in the last 10 because of him. But again, he's another player that's fallen off.
Shep's a waste of wage. I don't even want to talk about
Well,
it.
did they need to be more brutal in their axing of players before the summer?
They had to have a clear out, and they didn't do it. And
because I don't believe someone like Watson should still be
Watson
there.
doesn't deserve to be in that squad.
what we've got is a bunch of mediocre players who are they're kind of mid-level championship. I mean, I would always say there was like a Wraith level, but now they're not there anymore. So you're probably looking to say Queen of the South, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at players like Watson, Gasparotto, Muirhead for sure. Kerr now. McKee's a bit better. He's a different quality.
I'd say McKee's our best player.
And then you've got absolute rubbish like Sheps. And I'm concerned about O'Hara because he seems to be overlooked because of Shepherd being there. But fundamentally, there's this core of about 4 or 5 players who are all
not very good,
mediocre.
Yeah,
they're all crap, really.
Yeah,
for Falkirk. But they're taking up wages. They're on contracts, and we cannot get rid of them. We cannot shift them for whatever reason. If it's lack of effort, or if it's a kind of blind loving for all these guys that he's brought in.
I think it absolutely is, because you look at Kieran Miller. They couldn't buy a contract anywhere else.
No.
Apart from coming. Miller's career was done. Wherever he was out at Carlisle and stuff like that.
You also seen during the pre-season the best midfield partnership that we had was Taiwo and McKee.
Mm-hmm.
All our good results came with Taiwo and McKee starting, sitting in the middle, could get control, and then we started to play. You had your 4 sort of strikers, forwards, who had the kind of freedom to move forward. They knew they had Taiwo to break it up, and the defence looked a wee bit more solid because of you had a little bit kind of cover, I suppose.
Because McKee would always sit in, but then they tried to make Kerr play that role.
Well, that's the thing, you say
Kerr's
this...
too slow to cover.
But you say they played so well with this Taiwo McKee conversation, this combo, and they start that game with Kerr and McKee.
Yep. Like, the thing is, if he was going to do that, why, at what point in pre-season did he think, well, I'm going to start the first game with this, why did I not just play with these two and just not do anything with them? Because I know you don't like Taiwo, because you don't think he's a very...
I don't think he's ever played well for anybody.
No, but the thing is, he's got an engine on him.
So
and he will happily he'll run about the midfield for at least 80 minutes. And he will
but John Baird had an engine on him.
But John Baird was a striker.
Oh, come on. Taiwo's a decent centre mid.
Taiwo's decent centre mid because he covers ground. He puts pressures on the players, and then McKee's always there.
No one else. Does anyone else in Scotland's game rate Taiwo? Was he talked about in the Championship at all last year? No.
Not kind of player of the year,
I mean, he got Falkirk's Player of the Year.
Well, I think that speaks volumes.
That really does, because no one really stood out last season.
But then you're also looking at guys like, so if you want to have Kerr and McKee, right, so you're actually looking at Kerr being your kind of ball playing midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got Cragen in there on the bench, terrific ball player.
Mm.
He's got pick a pass, he's got quite good talent. Why isn't he in there? Rather, if that's the kind of formation that you wanted to play with.
I wouldn't play him centre mid.
I
really would, because I think he's good in behind the striker.
Well, in the game,
but I mean, we're not going to be playing that system. I'd rather have him in the side in general than have Kerr.
The game that we went to see, the first Betfred League game, Cragen was played at left mid, and he didn't do a bad job.
No, he looked alright, to be fair to him. His biggest problem playing out wide is he's not got pace. He'll take on his man and he's got, like I say, good technical ability, but he's not quick, and that's an issue for him. He's got a great striker on too, but
if you go back to the playoffs against Dundee United, he was showing a bit like just getting him in the game. He was getting shots in because he was playing. They switched him to the middle, and then that's when he got his goal because he just feels comfortable. That is exactly where he plays, just outside the box. He'll take shots. He's like, that's where he's instinctive.
Well, my biggest thing is, yet again, it's another season where you're trying to do the best with what you've got. And you look at what Dundee United have done over the summer. They themselves only managed a narrow victory over Inverness at the Caledonian Stadium, who looked mince in the Betfred Cup. And apparently it was quite a ropey penalty for Paul McMullen.
I read that, actually.
To finish. So they haven't started so hotly either. But the signings they had were Premiership players. Tam Scobie, who was doing a job for St Johnstone. Scott McDonald, who was highly thought of, but tailing off, his career at Motherwell. And you Falkirk sign Alex Harris, who was playing badly for Dumbarton at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not inspiring.
It's not logical. It's...
Yeah, I know.
Right, and at the moment, the club are asking for, people to fundraise transfers.
Yeah, I hate that.
But who are they going to go out and spend that money on after the signings they've brought in? I mean, I know Loy. A good signing, but...
They played it so cute with Loy, when you look at it. The way they kind of went about it going, this is a big deal. They've got the Falkirk Business Foundation funding some of his wages. And that in itself tells you everything you need to know about that board. Is they are not willing to put up any form of money out with a wage structure of maybe £400 to £600 a week.
But
because Lloyd will be on more than that.
It's now becoming embarrassing to the point of almost like your St Johnstones, your Ross Counties, your Partics.
But the board are comfortable where they are. And they're bulletproof because no one's really going to challenge
But
them.
I think everyone's comfortable. I think Houston's comfortable where he is. I think Kerr is very comfortable where he is. And they don't want to...
They don't want to rock the boat because when you do go up to the Premiership,
They'll be
you're going
dropped.
to lose more games than you are going to win. Mm-hmm. It's the other way around when you're in the Championship. Yeah, you have a good run in the playoffs. Better luck next time.
So another thing, and the comments of the Facebook page were hilarious. People were calling for Houston's head after one game.
So these happy clappers.
But he doesn't seem to be hugely popular amongst the fans. I don't think.
It's very mixed. There's people that still believe, and there's people that still kind of trust him because he's got us in the playoffs 9 times out of 10.
I mean, you can't really fault his record, really.
But the way he plays football is incredibly boring.
Aye, and his recruitment has been horrific.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, with that in mind, my little surprise quiz is actually about Falkirk on their opening day. So let me play the quiz music first and foremost. Right, so this is a wee multiple choice game I've constructed.
Okay.
I have got questions involving Falkirk's performances on the opening day, be it spirited or not so spirited, and you have to tell me whether the answer is A, B or C. So Andrew, you have a pencil and paper in front of you. Okay. John, do you have anything to write on as well?
He's got his laptop.
I've got a laptop, I'm high tech.
Well, he's got a laptop. So, I'll start with my first question.
Right.
I'll start with question 2 actually. Who scored Falkirk's first league goal in the 2015-16 season? Was it A, Aaron Muirhead? Was it B, Bob McHugh? Or was it C, Paul Watson? I'll repeat the question. Number 2. Who scored Falkirk's first league goal in the 2015-16 season? Was it A, Aaron Muirhead, B, Bob McHugh, or C, Paul Watson? We got our answers there, guys?
Yep.
Excellente. So the next question. What player was included in the opposing team's squad of the 2014-15 season opener that now plays for Falkirk? Okay, so he now plays for Falkirk, but he was in the opposing squad at the beginning of the 2014-15 season. Was it A, Luca Gasparotto? Was it B, Robbie Thompson? Or was it C, Lewis Kidd? So included in the opposition squad of the team they played in the opening of the 2014-15 season, A, Luca Gasparotto, B, Robbie Thompson, or C, Lewis Kidd. We got an answer there, guys?
Yep.
Is it going to be a wee guess for Andrew? I think it's going to be a wee guess.
I'm pretty sure. Did we play Dunfermline in the first day of that season?
I'm not giving you any clues.
I think it might have been, but I don't know who played for Dunfermline.
Question number 3 now. Falkirk played Hibs on the opening day of the 2016-17 season. You know what the score was?
Yeah, 2-1.
2-1. Sadly, that's not the question.
Oh.
How long did Nathan Austin play in that game? Was it A, 41 minutes? Was it B, 13 minutes? Or was it C, 30 minutes? How long did Nathan Austin play against Aberdeen in the opener of last season? Was it A, 41 minutes, B, 13 minutes, or C, 30 minutes? We got an answer there, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So question number 4. This is a fun wee pub quiz, isn't it, guys? What season did Falkirk last win their first game of the season? What season did Falkirk last win their first game of the season? So, their opener, was it A, 2010-2011? Was it B, 2013-2014? Or was it C, 2007-2008? Hopefully you're not looking this up on your laptop, John. I've just realised.
I do know that one.
What season did Falkirk last win their first game of the season? 2010, 2011, A, B, 2013-14, or C, 2007-2008? And question 5, what team did they play on that opening day? Was it A, Gretna FC? Was it B, Kilmarnock FC? Or was it C, Dundee United? This is a little bit of a clue as to how long ago it was. What team did they play on the opening day? Was it A, Gretna FC, B, Kilmarnock FC, or C, Dundee United? So, that rounds us off on our wee quiz there. Let's get the answers. So, question 1. Who was included... the first question I asked you, was who scored Falkirk's first league goal in 2015-16? Did you have answer A, B or C, Andrew?
I had C.
C, Paul Watson. What did you have, John?
B.
You had Bob McHugh. Incorrect, it was Paul Watson.
Was it?
Point to Andrew. Go and note down you have a point there, Andrew. Well done. Scoring against Dunfermline.
What?
I think it was Dunfermline scoring against.
It was the first time we played Dunfermline in 2 years.
Yes, and they got beat 2-1 I think in the end.
Yep.
So, who was included in the opposite squad of the 2014-15 season opener? Was it A, Luca Casperotto, B, Robbie Thompson, or C, Lewis Kidd? What did you have, Andrew?
I went for Robbie Thompson.
Went for Robbie Thompson, what did you have?
Yeah, I went for Luca.
You were wrong, it was B, Robbie Thompson.
Oh, come on!
It was a 2-each draw
Where is this
with Cowdenbeath.
Oh, could it be?
Oh, John!
I thought it was Morton.
No, they did play Morton in an opener too, which is why I threw Gasparotto in there as the kind of
I was caught between the Gasparotto.
So, how many minutes did Nathan Austin play? This was a bit of a crapshoot, but was A 41 minutes, B 13 minutes, or C 30 minutes? I'll go for you first, John. What did you have?
B.
B 13 minutes.
I went for B, but I wish I went for A.
You should have gone for C. It was 30 minutes.
30?
Neglecting extra time, of course.
I thought you were trying to be specific.
That was in a 2-1 loss to Hibs, Sibbald and Cummings. So,
that was a good goal by Sibs.
Was
that not getting a goal this
That
season?
was goal of the season.
in the very first game.
Tells you everything you need to know about that, yeah.
So, question 4, the penultimate question. What season did Falkirk last win their first game of the season? Was it A, 2010-14, B, 2013-14, or C, 2007-2008? What did you go for, Andrew?
C.
What did you go for, John?
C.
Correct. 2007-2008. What was the score?
4-0.
4-0. Away to Gretna. Can you give me a goal scorer that day, Andrew?
What season was it?
2007-2008.
I'll go for
Higdon
Stokes.
Nope, Higdon double.
Higdon got a brace, correct.
Higdon.
Pedro got one.
He did.
And... was Paddy Craig or something?
No, it wasn't. I'll throw it over to Andrew.
Oh, I'm struggling. Tam Scobie.
No.
Scott Arfield.
You'll kick yourself, lads. You want me to tell you?
Cam Higginbotham.
It was Latipi.
Oh.
Got the fourth. What team did they play?
Gretna.
Gretna A. What did you have, Andrew?
A.
So, how many points do you have there, John?
2.
Oh, how many points do you have there, Andrew?
4.
4!
Humped.
Dearie me, the hardcore Falkirk fan, John. Not a good time for you.
I can tell you everything that happened in 2007-2008.
You are a glory hunter, John, and only with them through the Premiership years. So no, when I was looking back at that, I was like, when I was flicking through year after year, I was like, have they really lost this many opening games?
Oh yeah, it's horrific. Like,
It was draws against Morton, Cowdenbeath. They got beat by Dunfermline, they got beat by Hibs. Dumbarton, I think they drew with in another season.
Yeah, but Dumbarton are a bogey team.
I'm not looking forward to that on Saturday.
Nope.
So no, it was really interesting looking up that information. Do you enjoy that quiz, guys?
It was good, yeah.
Good. So I guess that nearly brings us to the end of the podcast. So we'll just fire on with some predictions now, I think. John, what predictive... How did we do last week, first and foremost, of you?
Oh, well, it didn't go particularly
So
good.
bad.
Well, it went well for you, unfortunately.
I think I got one correct result.
Yeah, you did. So I got 6 points, I got 3 correct results.
Right,
Two
okay.
points for a result.
Right.
Darren got 9. Yeah, you got 3 correct results.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And you got 11.
11, yeah.
Disaster.
So it's a good start to the season for me. Andrew, you'll be playing for Darren this week. He'll be thrilled to know. What is our first game for predictions this week, John?
So our first game is Hibs versus Rangers.
Hibs See, because I've tipped Hibs to finish ahead of Rangers, I feel I should...
You're kind of obliged here.
2-1 Hibs.
Whoa.
Because I think Hibs are better finishers than Motherwell, and although Rangers created a lot of chances, they didn't score. That's my thinking behind that. Darren, what's your prediction?
2-0.
Very manly tone you now have there, Darren.
2-2.
2-2, what do you have, John?
I'll go for an epic 3-2 to Hibs.
Flippin' heck. Is this game on telly?
It better be.
If it's on telly, I can see a 3-2 happening. What's our next game?
Ross County versus Aberdeen.
Ooh, away from home for the first time for Aberdeen. 1-0 Aberdeen, I think it'd be narrow.
Aberdeen, are they away?
Yes.
Alright, so I'd say 2-0 Aberdeen. And I'll say Scott Wright to score.
Don't get any bonus points for that. I do admire him very much, though. Same age as Eric Black, by the way, when he played. Who is Eric Black?
Eric Black was a jumbo, eventually.
Maybe. Striker for Aberdeen. I watched, actually, to cheer myself up. They've got the full 90 of the 1983 European Cup Winners' Cup, Aberdeen against Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. Wow. That Aberdeen team were immense.
Some of the free kicks as well, like the routine was brilliant.
Oh, it's great. Like, see Strachan and all that, they were just...
Aye, Alex McLeish,
they bossed that Real Madrid squad, and they took, like, I think 13,000, whereas Real Madrid brought 3,000. So the noise was insane. Anywho, what's your prediction for that game, John?
3-1 to Aberdeen.
Oof, that's a high score.
Fancy it.
Someone's not watched the highlights. Next game?
It's the Renfrew Derby, Morton versus St Mirren.
Morton versus St Mirren. What's your prediction for this, John?
I'm going to go for 1 each.
1 each. Darren, what are you thinking?
1-0 St Mirren.
Ooh.
I also think St Mirren. I would have said 1-0. 2-1 I'm going to have to go. In which case. Our penultimate prediction.
It's Dunfermline versus Inverness.
Ooh. For me, how did Dunfermline do in the first opener?
2-1 each with Livingston. I mean, I'm going for 0-0.
0-0 John. 2-1 Dunfermline. Sneak it.
2-0 Dunfermline.
Second, that's a total...
That's terrible. Right, so last one, and you'll love it, because I like my lower league game. So it's Peterhead versus Elgin.
See, Peterhead haven't been as good as you would have expected them to be recently.
They've been absolutely roasting.
Have they? I guess they won like all their games once they played the Premiership team. Because Elgin are pretty rubbish. 3-0 Peterhead.
3-0 to Peterhead.
What are you saying, John?
5-0.
Dearie me. Andrew?
3-1.
3-1. Well, that rounds off our predictions nicely. Hopefully I go into next week with the same lead I have this week. We shall wait and see. So thank you for joining us very much tonight, Andrew.
Pleasure.
No bother. And thank you very much for joining us, John.
It's no worries.
Good luck with your dissertation, and thank you very much from me, Paul. Listen in again next week where we'll be covering the Betfred Cup. Last 32.
16, count yourself.
It's not 16, is it?
Aye.
Okay.
Falkirk are in the last 16.
The third round of the... Oh no, the second round. Oh, who cares? We'll be covering the Betfred Cup as we always do, and along with next week's fixture. So stay tuned for that. Give us a like on YouTube if you've got all the way to the end. We appreciate that loads. And hit subscribe on either SoundCloud or YouTube as well. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.
Cheerio.